Well, hello everyone, and it is time for another look at what we've been eating around here. I've got several brand new recipes to show you. They were new for us as well. They were all very delicious. We're going to have honey mustard chicken. We've got arroz con pollo. We have pork chops and a new squash casserole recipe. We did some packets on the grill, a delicious lemon garlic butter salmon. And then to round it out, we had some homemade biscuits with some strawberries over top for delicious strawberry shortcake. So if any of this sounds like something you're interested in, stay tuned. We're going to jump right on into the video. Look at this delicious arroz con pollo. I have never made this at home. I don't know why. Who doesn't love arroz con pollo? But that is what I decided to make tonight. Chicken and rice. So I am going to show you what I did. I, of course, chopped up my chicken into some pretty small pieces. And I used this, I think it's a McCormick's Southwest Ranch chicken street taco envelope seasoning, and I would highly recommend it. It had great flavor. So after the chicken is all chopped up, I just sprinkled on the seasoning directly onto the chicken. I said before, I like to take shortcuts if I can, and this worked just fine. The recipe on the back was a bit different. I think it called for oil and I don't know, but I just wanted the seasoning directly on my meat, so it would be extra flavorful. After that was done, I just added a little bit of olive oil in my skillet, and I am starting to fry up the chicken. I do not want to dry it out, so I'm kind of, want to get a good browning on it, but I don't want it to be too dry. And as you can see here, one way to ensure that, after you've got a browned color on either side, I always add just a little bit of water in and turn the heat down so it can kind of steam to get cooked all the way through. For the rice portion, I'm using this old El Paso brand cheesy Mexican rice. This was really good. If you can find this, you should try it, and I'm just making that according to the box directions. In the spirit of trying new recipes, I decided to make this one for queso that's been floating around YouTube and the internet for a while. You buy a package of the Great Value brand of white American cheese. The recipe I followed called for milk and cornstarch. And as always, I'll have the recipe linked down below, but just over a low flame, you mix these items together and just let this kind of melt until it is smooth and creamy. And to give a little heat, I used about a couple tablespoons of these diced jalapeños to give us just a little bit of spice in the cheese sauce. And here's a look at my plate. I just think this looks so pretty, and it tasted even better than what it looks. We really enjoyed the cheese. I will make that again. We just served that over some tortilla chips and then put the chicken over the rice with the usual favorites, some lettuce on the side, tomatoes, some fresh cilantro and lime, and then a warm tortilla on the side in case we wanted to put the chicken inside of that to eat it that way. This was delicious. I posted a picture on Instagram and got comments quickly. Can I have this recipe? So this is one you want to try. It was super easy and very, very delicious. Okay, now this recipe calls for 1 egg, a box of the Jiffy corn muffin mix, and it also calls for a cup of sour cream. Okay, so I have the sour cream here, but I also have some homemade ranch, just a little tiny bit, you can see here, left in the bottom of this little jar. So it's like a little pint jar. So I'm going to use the rest of that in with my sour cream to make up the 1 cup because I want to use that up as well. So it calls for dried thyme leaves. I don't know. I may sprinkle a little bit of thyme in there. I may not. And then it calls for salt and pepper. And then you put some butter on the top before you bake it. So I'm going to get going here on these other ingredients. Now it also does say to mix the sour cream, the egg, the Jiffy mix, all that in a separate bowl. And then mix it into the bowl with the squash. But I just don't really see that that extra step is necessary. So I'm going to do it all in this bowl. Okay, so I've got about a cup of sour cream left in here. I'm going to add a little bit of that ranch to it. Or I'm going to add all of the ranch to it, which isn't a lot. And that won't change the flavor a whole lot. But anytime I make ranch from scratch, I like to use it pretty quickly. You don't have a lot of preservatives in there, and so I like to use it pretty quickly after I've made it. Okay, so in goes the sour cream and the little bit of ranch that I had. And we will get this stirred together. You will get a lot of moisture from your squash. That's why it's not necessary to add anything else liquid-wise into a dish that has squash or zucchini, because there's a lot of natural moisture in those vegetables. How pretty is this? Our garden squash is coming in like crazy. Last year it was the zucchini like crazy. This year we have yet to see one zucchini, but tons of squash. I think squash is probably our favorite. So no complaints. Okay, now this says to spray a 9x13 baking dish and put it in there, and that's the next step. I haven't told you before, I love squash casserole. I only had it for the first time a couple of years ago. My daughter-in-law makes one that is delicious. Hers also takes a Jiffy cornbread muffin mix. This is the first time for me to make one with the corn muffin mix. The recipe that I love so much that I use most calls for stovetop stuffing or some sort of box stuffing mix, and so you've seen me make that one before here on my channel. If you've been around here long, I can link that one below. But I love hers as well. It's got a little sweet hint to it, which comes from the Jiffy. So for tonight, I thought I would do this one for something different. This isn't her recipe. This is just one I found online. I'm going to dot it with some butter, and then I'm going to get it in the oven. Here we go. The recipe says to bake at 350 for about 1 hour. Okay guys, we have not had pork chops for dinner in a long time. I don't know. It seems like during, the heat of coronavirus, a lot of meat was sold out, that kind of thing. Anyway, we are happy to have pork chops tonight. And I just wanted to ask you, leave a comment below. Do you do super shortcuts sometimes? Sometimes I'm just in a shortcut frame of mind. What I'm talking about tonight is this little tray that the pork chops came in. I separated 4 and put them in the freezer. Here are 4 that I'm going to be using. And I'm in a shortcut mood. So I'm going to just do it like this. So there's a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of flour. All right, so my shortcut is just to season these bad boys right here in this little container that they came in. Instead of putting them out on a plate or putting them on some sort of platter or putting them in a bag and shaking them, this is going to be just fine. These will be coated just as good as if they were in something else. There you have it, one beautifully coated pork chop. I'm going to fry these up in some bacon fat that I have left over, and then if I have to add any more fat to them, I'll probably use a little bit of coconut oil. So I will show you the pan as I get them all in there. Okay, and here they are in the pan. I'm just going to go through and put a bit of salt and pepper. I already did the garlic, so that way both sides have some on there. And I'm just shallow frying these. I don't deep fry my pork chops. I shallow fry them. It's the way I've done them for years, and they work out just great. The key for pork chops, do not overcook them. It doesn't take too long to get them done. If you overcook them, they get dry, and no one enjoys a dry piece of meat, or at least in our family, we don't enjoy that. So we'll get these babies a cooking. All right, and we give this one an A+. This is one more squash casserole recipe that we have tried, and this one was delicious. It kind of makes you think of a dressing, a stuffing in a way. It had a little hint of sweet. It was so good. We will make this one again. Here it is plated up with our pan-fried pork chops. It was a yummy meal. Hi everybody, for tonight's dinner I am doing some chicken. I've got one boneless skinless chicken breast. I'm going to fillet that down the center, down the middle to make 2 fillets, and I'm going to season those up with a little salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I'm going to roll them in honey mustard. I'm down here at the end of my bottle. I think that's going to be enough to use for the chicken that I've got. Also some paprika, I forgot about that. And then I'm going to do a little bit of the panko with a little bit of flour, and I'm gonna fry that. And then when it's all finished, I'm gonna put just a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top and let that melt. So that's gonna be the chicken portion for tonight. This is just not a recipe. I'm just thinking what sounds good and what do I have that I can use. And so I wanna finish off this honey mustard, and I've got the chicken breast that needs to be used. So the rest of these things I just gathered up, and I think these will go together quite nicely. And then I will show you my sides here in a little bit as well, so I'm gonna get started on this chicken. I've decided I'm gonna use my meat mallet to get a thinner piece of chicken, more like a chicken cutlet. This is one boneless skinless chicken breast cut through horizontally and then also cut in half. So it's quite a lot of meat for one chicken breast, and I just wanted a little thinner, so I'm using my meat mallet here. You can cover this with saran wrap or something else before you use your meat mallet. This is completely dried off. I don't think I'm gonna have any chicken splatter. I'm watching for that. So I think this is gonna be fine like it is. Tenderize much more by using that meat mallet and a little thinner. All right, I'm gonna go in with paprika. Ooh, that came out heavy. A little pepper, a little garlic, or a lot of garlic. A little salt. And now I'm going to just pour on the honey mustard. Wow, there was more in there than I even thought. That's going to be a good amount to coat this chicken. Perfect. Are you a starter or a finisher? I'm a finisher. I enjoy finishing things. So when we get to the bottom of jars of things, I'm so glad to get those finished and moved along. All right. Yeah, this is looking good. So I'm not gonna season the other side. This first side here has plenty. I'm just gonna kind of smush this around like so on my fancy dancy little plate here. This is a smaller piece, but again, not a big deal. It's just James and I here tonight. Not trying to win any awards in life, but I do want it to taste good. Pretty sure this is gonna taste good. All right, so we got everything going. And now I'm gonna come in to this plate with my panko and my flour. Yes. I had plans on making French onion chicken with this, and honestly, just some fried chicken sounded good, kind of extra zhuzhed up with the seasonings, the honey mustard, Parmesan cheese. I just thought that sounded great. Okay, I gotta get my oil in my skillet, and then I'll start getting these in the skillet. It's always a guess if you have enough of your coating, flour, panko, whatever you're using. So do I have enough in there? Way too much. Do I have to make more? This is coming out pretty perfect right now. Yes, I will take it. All right, let's get this last one in the pool. All right, last one going in. Pretty perfect. Right now I have olive oil in here, and I'm gonna add in a couple pats of butter. All right, and in with the butter. Back and forth. I really wanted to make the French onion chicken. If this is really what sounded better, and now that I see it in the pan frying up, I know I picked the right thing. Yum, yum, yum. All right, I have turned the chicken over and let it cook on the other side for a few minutes. And then I always put a little water into the bottom of what I'm frying to kind of steam it. And what it really does is just tenderizes and keeps things moist. It really works. So I kind of have it on a lower temperature, and then once the water cooks out, then what's on the underside will crisp back up again. So I'll show you that. I'm gonna let this go. I'm not gonna leave in these two smaller pieces as long because they're not as thick as the others. Keep an eye on those. And it's sure looking and smelling great. Okay, I just checked my internal temp of my chicken, and now I'm gonna add on my cheese. My chicken is cooked through. It's looking wonderful. I already have 2 pieces out. There's the first 2 that I took out. I'm gonna turn off the temperature and get these out of the pan here in just a second. Okay, this plate, there's a couple little empty spots, but not very much. I got excited with my salad, and I just didn't want a salad bowl tonight. I wanted it on my plate. So my salad is piled high, and it's got garden vegetables out of our garden on there. Just super, super excited about the salad. This is some fried squash. I told you we eat that quite a bit in the summer. We haven't had it for a week or 2, so I made some fried squash and this chicken. Oh my word, I think it's gonna be really good. And last night I made some biscuits. I'll insert a clip after this to show you what I made the biscuits for. So I had a couple left over, and that is a full house tonight, you guys. I'm excited about it. good meal of chicken and salad and fried squash and biscuits.
All right, and here is the batch of biscuits that I made. I follow the recipe from Moss Family TV. I can link that below. I defrosted a big container, Great Value brand of strawberries that are already sweetened. Oh my goodness, this just sounded so good. I don't know if I've ever made this way before, but it hit the spot. So we had these delicious warm biscuits, spooned over some strawberries and some whipped cream. Delicious strawberry shortcake. All right, and here we are getting some vegetables and lemons prepped for tonight's dinner. I am slicing up these lemons for salmon. We're going to do salmon and veggies on the grill, and I'm going to do some potatoes in the oven. So I'm going to take the half of the lemon there and these garlic cloves, and they're going to be mixed with butter for a lemon butter sauce, lemon butter garlic sauce that goes on top of this salmon. I just looked online and found a recipe that, actually plenty of recipes that are for a salmon that's got some garlic and lemon and butter on it. So this is what I decided to do with our salmon fillet tonight and do it on the grill. So I'm going to continue working on getting all of this put together, and you can just watch the process. Now, I believe the recipe just said to mix the butter, the lemon juice, and the garlic together to form kind of a paste, but I don't know if I had too much lemon juice or not enough butter. I don't know. It didn't really form a paste, but it did work just fine to coat the top of the salmon for flavor. It was great. It just didn't mix together very well. These all three are from our garden: the onion, the crookneck squash, and the zucchini. We finally got a zucchini out of the garden, and so I think these are going to be really delicious on the grill. I could have done the potatoes on the grill as well, I suppose, but I don't know. I just decided I was going to do them in the oven. Otherwise, it would have been a complete grill meal. But the salmon and the potatoes are in their packets, seasoned up and ready to go on the grill for an easy night of cooking. Here finished up the last of the potatoes I had that were purchased from the grocery store, and now we will begin digging potatoes from our garden, and I'll be using those until those are finished. So I'm anxious to see what our potatoes did in the garden this year. But we've really enjoyed, for the past, I don't know, couple weeks, we've done potatoes like this in the oven a couple times, and they're really, really good. They didn't brown up as much as I wanted them to tonight, but it was pretty much time to eat dinner, so I wanted to go ahead and get them finished up, but they were very delicious nonetheless.
I've eaten it too. Hey guys.
All right, everything's off the grill, opened up and steamy, hot, looking great. We really enjoyed this meal. We enjoyed doing both of those on the grill. The fries on the side were perfect. We had a little bit of tartar sauce, and this was just a very light and refreshing summer meal that we really enjoyed. It was pretty quick and easy to pull together, and of course the grill did the work on the most part of it, and that was a great meal.
And there you have it. That concludes another look at what we had for dinner. I hope you got some great ideas and maybe some inspiration that you can add into your meal plan this coming up week. Thanks for watching, guys. See you the next time.